Amber, 29 years old. And for the last few months, I've been struggling with something I don't know how to talk about without sounding paranoid. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. And until recently, things felt solid. We communicated well, made plans, shared routines. But over the last 8 weeks, he slowly pulled away in ways that feel small on the surface but heavy underneath. He takes longer to reply even when I know he's on his phone. He used to call me after work every day. Now it's, I'm tired, maybe tomorrow. When we're together, he's present physically, but not emotionally. He's distracted, quiet, distant. Even intimacy feels different, like he's somewhere else in his head. I've tried asking if something is wrong, but he insists everything is fine and says I'm overthinking, but my gut won't shut up. I'm not accusing him of cheating. It's not that. It's more like I'm slowly being pushed out of the inner circle of his life and I can't figure out why. I'm scared of bringing it up again in case I sound needy, but I'm also scared of staying silent and watching the relationship erode. How do I approach this without causing conflict? And how do I tell the difference between actual distance and my own insecurity? Now, this one is a beautiful story. This is one I relate to so much. And again, I'm going to say it like I say it every time, the foundation. Sleep. Are you eating right? Are you sleeping right? Are you training? Because you've got to make sure the thoughts that you're having are accurate thoughts. Are you going through something? Do you need to let off a bit of steam? That can address whether you think you're being paranoid or not. Without doing them, we can't talk. But let's address this. Let's address what's actually happening here. Because I can relate to it. Because I had a moment in my relationship when I could either be like this guy or be true to the person I'm with. There's no point being in a relationship if you're not going to be true to yourself. And that's the decision I had to make. It was either a year or 2 years in. I think it was a year in, or maybe a year and a half. I had to make a decision to open up about how I feel about life. Because I was struggling mentally. Most men feel this pressure. Most men want to be great, want to be someone. And there's this pressure just that we put on from ourselves to do this. There's not really, in a sense, an outer pressure. But for me, I never felt like I was good enough. So you always want to be great or better. You always want more. And I had to explain that to my girlfriend, that I struggle every day with this expectation, with this pressure on my shoulders that I put upon myself. And I had to explain that it's not her. She's not putting the pressure on me directly. It's nothing that her actions are doing that puts the pressure on me. But the pressure that she puts on me unconsciously is the pressure that I have to be a man, that I have to be someone, that I have to be good enough. Without you, I struggle to be good enough. With you, there's more pressure on, no, you have to be good enough for this person that I love. And I had to explain that because I can't have my partner not know the pressure she's putting on me by just being with me. And I've got to explain that it's not her fault. And I'm not blaming her for the pressure she puts on me. That's just how it is, and that's just how my mental state was at the time. Not saying it was right at all, but I'm saying that's what it was. That's how I thought. And the pressure is also to say that, because you don't want your girlfriend to see you as weak. You don't want your girlfriend to look at you and say, this man can't provide for me. This man can't be there for me. Some of us are that kind-hearted that we want to be there for you. We want to be a shoulder. We want to be the person that we don't necessarily get or see. We want to be that person that is the support. Which means when we need support, it's difficult because we have this imagination or we have this image that to be support, you have to be this strong person. Women don't think like that. Or at least the woman that I'm with doesn't think like that. And most normal, most sane and good women don't think like that. Don't think a man has to be perfect and has to not struggle and has to not have someone to support them. That's normal. We need people to support us. But it's tough for us to say that when we want to be the support. So by him, if he is going through something mentally, if he opens up about it, he's being weak because he's opening up about something that he can understand, he cannot get past. He can't deal with it himself. So how the hell are you meant to help him deal with it? That's what I used to think with anyone. I used to think, why should I open up when I can't figure it out myself? Why the hell can anyone else figure it out? I feel like I'm pretty intelligent. I know me the best. Another thing I would tell my girlfriend is I have difficulty communicating my emotions and my thoughts accurately. I'll try and I'll say the words out loud, but it doesn't seem like it comes across the way I mean it to. It's almost a blame on myself to say I don't want to say something and it be interpreted wrong, because that's even worse. And one thing my girlfriend did for me that allowed me to open up to her, there wasn't a restriction on her side because I knew she loved me. I knew she was a caring person. I knew she was a person I loved and wanted to be with. I knew she weren't doing anything wrong, but she complained to me about life, about struggle. She'd opened up to me, and I could see that she wasn't this perfect person who smashed struggle every single time, that could accomplish anything, was this superhero. She wasn't that to me. So it made it easier for me to match her, to be that person, to say, listen, I'm not this superhero either. So maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need to express your struggles in life. I always find that with the man I am today and the person I am today, to get someone else to open up to you, to be an ear for someone, you have to also let them know that you're not perfect, that you're struggling, that you're not alone with this, because that's what it is for a man. You feel alone. You feel like no one else can even compare to this feeling inside you. And it eats up inside you. And you don't know how bad of a poison it actually is keeping inside you. I didn't know for years, for all my life, until I figured it out, until I sorted out why it's okay to ask for help. And with my girlfriend, that situation, that was one moment that triggered it all for me, that started it all off. And all she did was sit there and listen. And that's all you need to do when that moment comes, because the moment will come or you'll break up. And if you do break up, it's not your fault if someone else can't open up about the struggles in life. Just know that it's not on your conscience. You don't have to feel guilty about that. And you don't have to be the one to open him up, to fix him in a sense. Women always think that they want to be the one to fix you. But it's not about you. That's what you've got to understand. In a sense, it's got nothing to do with you. The only issue is his behaviours affect you. But if you could possibly imagine that a person has so much on their mind that to help someone else, it just drains you. Because you're spending every waking minute on your own struggle, not being able to understand and why it's happening, not being able to get past it. It just keeps coming back and back. You might think you've solved it and it comes back. All that is so much effort and energy that then helping someone else and focusing on you is very difficult. And it's not that he doesn't want to, it's almost that he can't. The issue in his mind is so powerful and so strong that he's not in control of it. And that drives him crazy too. And the reason I say this for your situation is because, one, I can see myself doing the same behaviour once. And two, you were once healthy. You once had a healthy relationship. That means he knows the behaviours that it takes to have a healthy relationship. He's not some arsehole that doesn't understand what it means. And you say he used to be open and you used to communicate and it used to be great, and you don't understand why now. Just maybe he was lying to you. Men are great at that. Men are great at not truly showing the pain and struggle that you're under as a man. That's why we've got such high suicide rates. And don't get me wrong, women probably do it, but I'm talking from the perspective of the man here. We can hide a lot. We can walk around and show that it's okay, and maybe even just sprinkle a little bit of struggle in there just to fool you a bit. And we're not doing it on purpose. We're doing it because we're not ready yet. We're not doing it like, I'm going to lie to this woman and lead her on. There's no ill intentions. We're doing it wrongly, but we're doing it in a sense to protect you, which we don't need to. This fella just hasn't understood that yet. And I say he's not cheating and all that business and not leading you on. He might not be. But if this issue doesn't get solved, it could lead to that. Because he could see that you're not the person that's going to get him open. And the issue is, even if he doesn't leave and doesn't do all the bad stuff that men can do, he'll live a life of quiet suffering. And you don't want that for him either. That's worse than the other option of him behaving badly. They're both the same result. They're both avoiding the issue. And that's something you can't do. You can't avoid the issue. And the way you can bring it up to him, in a sense, is, like I said, open up yourself. Let him care for you. And he might start talking about his own emotions. Let him talk. That's what your aim is. You want him to start talking. When you get people talking, they go and they go and they go and they carry on. And you almost need to bring him into a false sense of what's happening. This therapy session and this meeting that's happening. He needs to not know it's a plan that he has to sit down and talk about his emotions, because he can't. He doesn't know them. That's why he's not done it. He hasn't got it in his notes. This is what's wrong with me. This is the solution, or I can't find the solution. No, it's none of that. He's confused himself. That's why people who can just sit there and be listened to figure it out. That's why talking is the way. If you're a man and you're the guy in this situation and you don't know how to open up to your girlfriend, that's normal. If you knew how to do it, you'd solve the issue that you're having. And for me, if I just talk, if I just get ideas out there, and if I just communicate wrongly, if I don't do it right, that's fine too, because the more times you do that, the more you figure out how to communicate correctly. The more I communicated and said the wrong things and was like, that doesn't feel right, the closer I got to making it feel right. And you've got to tell your partner, or your partner has to understand that. Listen, that conversation we had, there were some parts of it that I was wrong, that I weren't accurate. Now bear with me, because we're going to have these conversations more, and you might get confused. But just know I'm trying to figure it out, and just please be there to listen. Please don't judge. And please let me understand why you don't see me as weak. Because up to a point, women don't see you as weak by explaining your emotions and talking about your struggles. There's limits. You've got to balance it, don't get me wrong. If I sat here and complained all the time and was struggling all the time and was being a bit of a baby, absolutely. But let me tell you, that situation is over years. And if you have a person, if you have a partner who doesn't understand that, it's not the right partner for you, and it's nothing on you. As the person who's opening up, if they're judging you, they've got a false sense of reality, expecting that struggle's not going to happen. But again, if you're just moaning and you're not trying to do anything about it, if there's not an intention of improvement, if there's not an intention to be sincere with this and be honest and be like, listen, I know this is being weak. If you can admit to that and say, listen, I know it's being weak. I know I should be better. Even just that admission to someone else, and for someone else to understand that, goes a long way. It says, listen, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be weak. I don't want to be struggling, but I am. But most normal people understand that life has struggle. And that's all this fella's going through. And that's all you can do. You can just wait for the moment, listen, and communicate yourself. Don't sacrifice the things you want for that, because he also won't want that. He wants to know that he's in a relationship, and he wants to know that his woman's in a good relationship, in a happy relationship. As a man, we don't want to be the burden. So by you communicating in a way that's not judging, in a way that's not blaming him, because he's got enough on his plate. We all have enough on our plates. So let's not blame other people. Let's not put judgment on other people let's just have an environment where you can both talk about what the hell's going on in your mind. And obviously you're worried about him, but you can't force someone. You can't push someone to open up when it's such a scary thing. Men, it's not normal for men. We don't see the behavior. We don't see the reward in doing it. And that's all that needs to happen. There just needs to be a reward. Men are simple. We need a positive. We need a treat. We need to know that it's gonna be okay. And you've got to be a place for that. And if you don't learn that as a person, I was gonna say as a woman in a relationship, but even as a person, the people around you are gonna struggle. If you don't learn how to do it with this, then the next guys might just be the same. Because most men are like this. Most men quietly suffer. And most of the time, the way that's solved is by their partner. Because their partner can be that one person that they can truly open up to. And that's all that's happening here. You just need someone to talk to. And I know you desperately want to be that person, but that desperation is what's scaring him, what's pushing him away. And a bit of patience is all that is needed to relax and know that he still loves you and it's not something you're doing. That's got to give you some form of comfort, that it's not your fault in a way. As long as you're being someone that he can open up to, he knows there's not going to be a negative. That's what he's worrying about, getting something off his chest and there's being a negative. Make sure there's not a negative. It's difficult and you're going to have to learn how to do it off other professionals. And I love this one because I can talk from experience. And my girlfriend was the one that got me out of that and led me on a path to discovering how to open up about your emotions and understanding not to keep it all in. But that's why I love that one. I love that story. But at work now, so peace.